in this, but there is definitely something for everybody. Harvestella is basically a farming simulator if farming simulator was actually Final Fantasy. Now hear me out. The game pretty much follows the standard grow crops, gather crops. There are no animals to my knowledge in this game though. I played the first couple hours. I really enjoyed it. And I really like the aesthetic. The aesthetic very much was, Final Fantasy, the more mobile-esque ones. But the environments look pretty. The characters are actually really interesting. The character designs, anyways. Um, the actual farming though was kind of lackluster in some cases. Now, the game is pretty gorgeous for what it is. I know that some people may have issues, with the more lower poly-esque style, especially if you played it on the Nintendo Switch, which didn't really show off the game as well. Like, if you want it on the go, sure, picked up Nintendo Switch. But for me personally, I think it's best picked up on the PC or something. So basically, the game revolves around this giant crystal that crash landed right outside of a small village, a small farming village, and your goal is to basically figure out what it is. And while doing so, do quests for the villagers, grow crops, explore some of the surrounding areas. So there's like a pretty big not open world, it's like an open zone map, and you get to go through like different dungeons. It's like a real dungeon crawling aspect where you have multiple layers to every dungeon, but it's really just the forest or like a open, like the areas being connected to. Those are open zone, open corridor, very much like the old Final Fantasy 13. Those you can like just go through and have normal action oriented fighting, which it felt a lot better than I expected it to feel. And I feel like that's something that, I think they were probably like experimenting with the kind of combat. But I think the combat in this game felt really good. And I found myself a lot of the time just wanting to go around and, do the quests. That's mostly a rundown of everything of what the game does and how it operates. It obviously is not complete. But what I do want to say specifically about it is that the actual exploration feels really good. So when you go into the dungeon, the further you go into the dungeon, now the game doesn't call it a dungeon per se, it just calls it a map, but it is a dungeon. And everything is pretty controlled, it's pretty walled off, and it allows you to, really go in and experience the game. There's a lot of really fun stuff in the game. I try to remember it, but at the same time, I try not to spoil too much because there is a really good demo for this game, which actually lets you go up to pretty much I think the first or second chapter, or is it the third chapter, where you encounter the forest spirits as well as the something of a god, like a unicorn god. I do have footage of that. I'll be using the footage of the demo because it's been a while since I played this game, as you can tell. But honestly, it really is well written, and I think that if you play Final Fantasy, this game will be totally up your alley. And if you like cozy farming sims, I don't know if you'll appreciate it if it's because you like cozy farming simulators. It's less cozy, but the aesthetic makes it feel really nice and really good. So as for the actual farming aspect of it, it's basically every single farming game. You do have a plot, and that plot you're able to till and water and plant various seeds and whatnot depending on the season. Also, this game has a hunger system, so you'll need to keep yourself fed. I can't remember what the problem, like if you happen to like go hungry, what will be the problem. As I said, it's been a while since I played this game. It's just that I really wanted to talk about this game because it's just one of those games that didn't really get a lot of love on launch, even though it is a fantastically fun game. And it has a lot of those text-based adventuring aspects where, you can dig here. Will you do it? Roll a dice, There's a lot of very old school RPG elements inside of this, and it works surprisingly well to like really to really engross you into this world that they have going on here. And for the most part, it feels pretty good, it feels pretty solid, and I think that the characters. Each character is very, very different and very, very unique, and they all have their own personality. Some of them are voice acted, or the majority of them are voice acted. Yeah, well, the main characters are they each have their own styles. You can basically pick and choose varying styles, varying weapons, different elements. You have multiple loadouts. The boss battles for this though, like in the demo and the earlier parts of the game, the boss battle was actually really, really fun, and it felt like a actual like MMO style battle where you had to look for key components, but at the same time, I mean key things that they were doing, choreographs basically, and the battle scene was very cinematic, and I felt like it was pretty fun. So overall, it's kind of like it's definitely it's definitely MMO light. It's very action adventure light. It's very farm and sim light. I think but there's a lot of character in this. Like you can have just like how all those visual novels and those character driven games and shows. There's a lot of characterizations for everybody here, and if you like that, you'll have a lot of fun in this. But there is definitely something for everybody, and I felt myself wanting to exploit dungeons more than actually do the farming because again, the dungeons are so well fleshed out. The battle system is so well fleshed out. There's so much actual things to do in this game. And after battling out the first boss, I felt like, hey, maybe I should take a break. Maybe I should do some of the farming. Maybe I should talk to some of the townsfolk. Because I didn't really feel like talking to some of the townsfolk. But the entire character job system is here, and different jobs have different unlockables, and you have this large wheel of multiple huge jobs that you could actually use and take and really customize your character how it is. Like it's a shame that the game didn't really do as well as it could have done. I'm not entirely sure why. I think people kind of got either confused, or I think it was released in a very poor, not a poor state. It was released when it had a lot of other stuff going on, so a lot of people didn't really feel like going through emotions to actually pick it up when it had other good, better stuff. But overall, I think that Harvestella is actually a really great unwritten, not unwritten, underrated gem. And if you can, you should probably check it out. The demo is available everywhere, so it's not much to just check it out, see what it does, and honestly, I think it's a great experience. So yeah, you should check it out. All right, that's Harvestella. I was recalling the game from memory because I actually wanted to talk about it for a while. Like I have it on my list of games to talk about. Like you seen my channel, I have like multiple stuff going on here right now. So I do want to talk about Harvestella, and I'll probably do a much bigger video on it later. So drop a subscribe for that. If you'd like to support the channel, you can drop a like, drop a support. You can support me on Patreon. All the links in the description below. Tell me what kind of Final Fantasy oriented game do you like? Because Final Fantasy is going on kind of right now, and